Well, of course you better listen to radio.
Let's do it.
I saw that red light go on. Not going to get caught not talking properly or whatever with the red light on. Hey, everybody, glad to have you along with us today. And it is absolutely gorgeous out. It is a sunny day, so, I brought a little sunshine in to wear on the inside of the building. To get a hold of us, let's do the business part of things. You can call us at 888-808-8637. You can text us at 601-879-4395. I'm going to say that one again, 601-879-4395. And you can watch us because we live stream supertalk.fm/Mary. The reason why you want to make sure you know that those numbers is because you'll have an opportunity in a minute here to use that knowledge. It's an election day. Did you know that? It's an election day in Ward 2 in Jackson. That's the only one, though. Having a runoff between Montine, Tina Clay, and Marcus Cheatham. They were the top vote getters in a couple weeks ago. So they have to have their runoff to fill the seat vacated by former now City Council person Angelique Lee, who pleaded guilty to accepting bribes in a federal case. And I know you know about that one. Now, the reason why I say know those numbers, here's the deal. We've got a couple tickets to give away to Gaslight. It's going to be opening soon, if not already now, because I don't have my calendar in front of me, at the new stage. We gave away a couple tickets on Friday, and we'll give away a couple tickets today, but we make you work for it, okay? So you know that 2 weeks from today, a significant thing will happen, which is that we will all go to the polls for Election Day. But there's something significant happening in 12 days that affects everybody, probably even animals. And animals aren't affected by elections, but it's a very big thing that will happen on the 3rd of November. If you know what that is, call in or text in, and Lance will grab you as you do that.
And it is the Gaslight starts today.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
You nailed it. Yeah, and I'll be text in the answer.
Yes, the answer to. So what's
read that one more time.
What is the significant thing that happens in 12 days on November 3rd? Very significant thing that happens to everybody in this country. It doesn't have anything to do with elections. It just has to do with life, shall we say?
I think I know the answer off the top.
No, you can't say it.
I'm just off the top, but I'm not going to say it.
No. Did you figure it out when I put it down on the form?
No. It just hit me when you just said that. It just went to my. I think I got it though. I'm not going to say anything.
No, we can't say anything because we got to let these people get their tickets and work hard for them. 888-808-8637. 888-808-8637.
And the first person that gets it to us is the winner.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's right. And you can text us if you don't want to call. 601.
Yeah, texting.
That's the hard one to remember. 601-879-4395. I've been doing this show over 7 years. I still have to look at a piece of paper because I can't memorize that number. 601-879-4395. What is it that happens, a significant thing, on November 3rd?
And if it's the one I'm thinking, it's pretty significant.
Yes, it's very significant. And sometimes even controversial, some people think.
Yes, very controversial.
Now, let's get on with who we got here in the studio with us. We have got Mayor Walter Morrison IV. He is the mayor of Gluckstadt. I would have to say, certainly the fastest growing city in our area, certainly in Madison County, but certainly all over the place, because you've only been a city since, I think, 2021. Is that correct? Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, good morning. Yes, we've been a city now just over 3.5 years.
And I've been talking to you since that happened. And then I remember the next time you came, you hired your first employee, and it was the city clerk who had no phone. She had no desk, but that's okay. But what has she got now? You got a pretty fancy city hall,
We've
don't
got
you?
everything we need. We're still in the same city hall building that we rent. But we are in the process of opening our first city building, our police department and municipal court building. So that's exciting for the city.
Absolutely. What about fire department? Did you have to build a building for that one too?
No, the fire department, the fire protection is provided by the South Madison County Fire District. So the city itself does not have its own fire department.
Do you want one?
No.
Okay, but the police department. So you've started on the building, or you're about to?
We are about to finish the building. The building should be done, within the next couple of weeks, I think.
And where is it again? Is it right next to the city hall?
It's just south of Germantown High School.
That's a good location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a perfect spot.
It's a good location for it. Absolutely perfect. And you also you're going to put something in there that's a neat thing for people who need the help. It's the safe haven boxes. Well, tell me about that.
Yeah, so when we started building the police department building, it just so happened we learned about these safe haven baby boxes. And Mississippi passed a statute a year or two ago that allowed for a mother to essentially legally abandon a newborn baby. And they have to do that in order to take advantage of the protections provided in the statute at certain locations. Police departments, fire departments, hospitals, things of that nature. And they can do so, no questions asked, as long as they follow the basic rules about where to abandon the child. We were in the process of building a new police department building. I learned of the baby boxes. Jill Ford was real instrumental, I think, in getting the statute passed. It was something that was also very important to her. And I thought it was just a wonderful idea. While we were building the building, let's go ahead and get a baby box. And so we started that process. The baby box cost about $25,000 to buy and to install.
That's not some dinky little thing that people might think is some little small thing. Apparently, it's
No. It is completely secure. It's safe. It's climate controlled. It also, when activated, sends a dispatch or a notification to our police department, the fire department, so that this child won't have to remain in that baby box very long at all. But in the event that the child would have to remain there for even an hour, it's all very secure and climate controlled and very, very safe atmosphere for the child. And so we had to raise the money to do that. And I will tell you, you learn how truly lucky you are to have great friends. I sent out about 3 emails to various groups of my friends, and I think Representative Ford did the same thing. And we were able to raise the money for the baby box in about 2 days.
wow, $25,000 in 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
So it
That's
I think
stellar.
that the people recognize, the despair that a new mom must face if she's put into that situation. And you hope that the box is never used for obvious reasons,
Sure.
but at the same time, the world we live in, the reality of it is every now and then you do see a story where some mom somewhere abandoned a child, on the front step of a residence or in a garbage dumpster or, heaven forbid something like that happened in this area. It destroys mom's life. It puts at risk the baby's life. And so this is a perfect opportunity to avoid the destruction of 2 lives.
And you know what's good about having it where you're going to put it is there are EMTs close at hand. If this child needs medical attention right away, you've got people right there, which is a good thing. You don't have that at other places, even though other places are wonderful. There are other places that have them, not in Gluckstadt, but around town and around the country. But that if you have to have medical attention right away, an EMT can be right there.
Yeah, we will know within minutes of the fact that the box has actually been activated. Our paramedics and police officers would respond pretty immediately to the whole situation. We've got a hospital 10 minutes up the road or less, 5 minutes up the road. So the baby would certainly be very well taken care of.
And the mother need not worry about if she wants to remain anonymous, she will remain anonymous.
That's right. No questions asked.
Right.
Mom is to remain anonymous, and that's the protections provided by the statute.
Well, you are growing so fast, the fastest growing town that we can think of in central Mississippi, and businesses. And we've already got a text this morning from somebody who says, we opened up a dog grooming business in Gluckstadt, and the city is just amazing for businesses. Well, how cool is that?
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm happy to hear that, and I expect nothing less. We've got a great group of people who work for the city who help facilitate things. For a long time, we were, quote unquote, out in the county. And so being out in the county, there's a little bit less in terms of rules and regulations and requirements and things. And so when you come in and you start a new city, you face growing pains, and people who have lived under one regime for a long time and now have to do business under another regime are faced with all sorts of things that can be burdensome at times. We've tried to do the best we can to make that as easy as possible, to enforce the rules that we have to enforce, but at the same time to make it as user-friendly as possible. We've not always done it perfectly. We're continuing to learn, but I'm so pleased to hear that people in the community are satisfied and that they do think that the city is amazing. I do for sure. We have absolutely fantastic people who work for us every day.
Well, you are the mayor of the city, not elected, but are you going to run for election? I say I can't say run for re-election because you were never elected, but are you going to run for election?
I am, and
Good for you.
people have heard me say this before.
Good for you.
I never had aspirations to be a mayor for the sake of being a mayor.
Right,
okay,
right.
But at the same time, I was asked to do the job. We came in and did the job and are doing the job, and I think that we've done a B plus type job. I think that we can always do better. We have definitely made mistakes, but we have a lot of unfinished business, and I don't want to see the city pause or take a step backwards. I think that we have a great team in place. It's a challenge every day, but I have said this before. It's the greatest privilege that I've ever had in my life to serve in this capacity, and I really do enjoy it and look forward to doing it.
I think you enjoy it more and more than you used to. You used to be like, well, I'm going to do this, but now it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this.
Well, again, it's one of those things that I never sought out. But once I realized that, I do owe this, I have a lot of people that I owe a great debt to that in this community that gave me all sorts of opportunities. And when I was asked to do it, I agreed to do it. And it's been a very satisfying thing. It's something that I never thought that I would do. But I have really enjoyed it. But more than me, I have enjoyed watching the city grow.
And I was just going to say,
prosper.
that's what's exciting.
Yeah.
It's watching it, watch it happen. All blank space. You had a blank easel, and look at you now.
It's like watching your kids, begin to crawl and then walk and then run and grow up and mature and do all of the things that you hope they do. I mean, I ride through town and I see, for instance, one of our public works crews, and they're out there cutting grass, and it's 100 degrees outside. Who wants to be out there doing that kind of stuff? They've got a smile on their face. They're happy to come to work every day. The people who are at City Hall and our police department, I can promise you guys, they're not there because they're getting wealthy doing what they do, okay? They're there because they like the challenge. They like the atmosphere. They like what they work, and they like making a difference. And that has been very rewarding for me to see.
It's very rewarding. You go through a town and you see everything groomed nicely. That's a wonderful thing. And it's like, well, hey, these people care about this stuff. And that's great. And it's great that they want to. Well, you have to want to do it. You have to have a dedication to it, but that they do it without complaining is great. How many people in that department, by the way? Your public works department must be pretty big.
Yeah, there's about 10 people probably there.
How big is your police force?
Our police force is probably 15 to 18 officers.
One of the last times you were here, it was like 1 or 2 people, but it's growing.
And we're getting ready to implement some dispatch personnel that's going to add probably 4 or 5 employees.
That's the hardest job of all, I think, for the police to be a dispatcher, because you have to make up your mind right away. Is this a real call? And do I need to act immediately and send somebody there, or what is this? Because they have to assess that. And sometimes they have to assist people who have fallen or some horrible thing has happened, and they have to know what to do to help that person until somebody can get there, or if somebody's, whatever sorts of things. And that's, it's a tough job. Front line is very, very tough. Well, good for you. I know the last time you were talking about your design on the police cars. Did you have a contest or something, right? It was
No, that was really left to our police department.
They decided?
Our police chief and the assistant chief. I think they're the ones who came up with that. I don't think we had a contest.
Oh, it wasn't a contest. It was just a thing. Well, how much do you start your officers at in terms of pay?
It really depends upon their level of experience. We have a pay scale. Mary, I can't quote it to you, but it's somewhere, high 40,000s, I think.
Yeah, it's competitive. You have to be competitive.
Yeah, and that's some, major challenge that we've had. Capitol Police has begun, I think, paying their officers more, and it is a constant thing amongst the local police departments to try to keep up with the salaries.
Well, JPD is up. We had Chief Wade on here. I guess it was last week. Their starting salary now is $50,000 for the capital city. I mean, and that's just really jumped increments quickly in the last 2-3 years. They were never that high, but they've to get up there. So you're in a competitive situation, but you're also in I think, a unique position because you are a new city. I think that's really very cool. Did you have the Oktoberfest already? The German thing?
No, the German Fest is not happening this year.
Oh, okay.
We hope to ensure that it happens next year. St. Joseph's Church has been the folks that have put that on for years and years and years, and we've had some talks with them, and we're encouraged that they're going to do it next year.
Well, that'll be good because they've done it for a lot of years.
That's true.
And in Gluckstadt, we have a German Fest. You have to say that. So if you'd like to talk with Mayor Walter Morrison IV of Gluckstadt, 888-808-8637 is our phone number. 601-879-4395 is how you can text us. I really do like that. The remark about the business. I'm looking up here at the computer to see what was on there. B is too low. We give the mayor and city workers a solid A. Somebody says, well, how cool.
Yeah,
that was very good.
That. And this is some trivia for anyone out there. What does the word Gluckstadt mean in German? I know the mayor knows this, but what does Gluckstadt mean in German?
Well, Gluck, I should know the word Gluck. Well, Stadt is city, or state, S-T-A-D-T. Gluck is like glückliche neue Jahr, happy.
Luck or fortune.
Okay, I'm saying happy, yeah.
Luck city or fortune
Happy city. Yeah.
And I think it sounds like the luck and good fortunes are going along with the mayor's hard work here. So
yeah.
That's how it works, isn't it?
How are your streets and roads doing, by the way? Do you have problems like everybody else seems to have problems with streets and roads and getting them repaved? How are they?
I can tell you if the grade for the city of Gluckstadt was based upon traffic, I would get lower than an F, probably. The traffic situation is the single biggest problem that we have. The community grew so fast. It grew without any contemplation. The infrastructure just cannot keep up. The roads are inadequate to support the traffic. Every single day, traffic is a really big nightmare.
Is it getting to and from 55? Is that the biggest problem there?
Yes, to get 255 to get south towards Jackson, it's a major problem.
Hold the thought. We'll be back. We got to take our first break here. It's Mary Wieden and you, and this is Mayor Walter Morrison IV of Gluckstadt. We'll be right back. It's up. Here we are with Mayor Walter Morrison of Gluckstadt. He is going to run for mayor. And you say, going to run for mayor? Didn't he already? No, he did not. He got appointed years ago when they were going to be, well, you became the mayor sort of before it was really the town, but you took the town through all the legal action because you're an attorney by profession, right? Did you take the town all the way through all the steps, or were the steps completed, or how'd that work?
No, I didn't. I was not the lawyer for the incorporators.
Right.
We had some lawyers who did that for us. I was simply the person that was going to serve and appointed to serve as the initial mayor.
Yeah, and look at you now. And so that's why I say he's good. He's running for election, not re-election. He's running for election. And we are at 888-808-8637. We text at 601-879-4395, and you can watch us as we live stream at supertalk.fm/Mary. So when we went to break, it sounds like Flowood and a lot of other towns, traffic and streets. So you got... Do you have mostly two-lane roads? I haven't been there in such a long time to know. Two-laners, you're going to do four-laners eventually, or how are you going to do that?
Well, our major priority at this time is widening Gluckstadt Road. Yep. So we're going to add a lane to Gluckstadt Road. It's a very expensive project. I think that we're talking probably in the $8 to $9 million range to widen that road. Oh. Now, the good news is that the legislature has appropriated a little money for us to start that process, and I'm hopeful that that will continue, that we'll be able to get some more assistance from the legislature. We've also got a pretty sizable, I think about a $3.5 million grant to help fund that project. That requires, however, the same matching funds from the city. So very expensive. If you think about the city has about a $9 million budget, when you think about that kind of cost to widen a street, you can see how significant the cost is. But that is our first and foremost priority. At the same time, we've got a grant to overlay Calhoun Station Parkway, which is a north-south artery that runs through the city that I think will help as well. And we're going to work with the county to widen Weisenberger Road. All of those things are going to take time. All of them will help alleviate the problem. It will not cure it. It certainly won't happen overnight. We're talking about years down the road. At the same time, if everyone is aware, I-55 is going to be widened, and Reunion Parkway is going to be completed.
Gosh.
So when all of that is done, I think that we'll be pretty good in terms of traffic. But those things take a lot of time and a lot of money, and we're a long way from it.
Well, what's the distance that of Gluckstadt Road to do the widening? How many miles is that?
I'm not exactly sure. It's at least a mile to widen it, and maybe more than that.
All that money for that. Wow, inflation has certainly kicked in mightily for this project. Are you going to take it from 2 to 4 lanes, or are you going to add a third lane for left turns?
So what we're talking about doing is adding another lane that goes westbound. So now there's 1 lane that goes westbound. We'll add another one to make it 2 lanes. There's already 2 lanes that go eastbound.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Well, I wonder why it was done that way. It just was.
It just was. That was done, of course, in the county before the city became a city and before the population exploded out in that direction. So, by the time you start these projects and get them funded and get them built, population has changed dramatically and things have changed.
Well, subdivision after subdivision, I'm sure. What's growing faster, businesses or residential areas?
Undoubtedly, it's commercial.
Oh, it is.
Yes, undoubtedly it's commercial. The I-55 Gluckstadt Road corridor and all of the areas that are just near to Interstate 55 are just booming with commercial growth. I live in the community and at mayor of the city and drive through it frequently. And sometimes if I don't go in a particular area for a week or two, I'm amazed when I drive back. I'm like, I can't keep up with how fast things are growing.
Well, I live at the reservoir on the Rankin side, and we went through a lot of, when they widened Lakeland, the thought was, it'll alleviate traffic. No, it just makes for more traffic. It didn't alleviate anything. But the commercial growth down there is amazing because if you don't travel that road, you get wait a minute, I've lived out here for years. I don't know where I am just now because there's so much that goes on. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and another thing that we're really hoping for, and this might be pie in the sky dreams, but I've started working with some folks about trying to get this accomplished, is we'd really like to have a frontage road built on the west side of I-55 that would take traffic from Dees Road, Distribution Drive, and drain that traffic in a southerly direction along 55 towards Reunion Parkway. That would just give another outlet for traffic to avoid some of the more high traffic areas now. And with the I-55 widening project to happen, now's a good time for us to start lobbying and trying to get that incorporated into that project.
Yes, and the legislature starts pretty soon here. It'll be here in no time at all, just a little over 2 months.
That's right.
Good planning, Mr. Mayor, on that deal. So do you have to get the feds involved? Oh, I guess you do.
Yes.
Very much so, get the feds involved because that's I-55.
Yeah, and I've made this sales pitch to our congressional delegation. Michael Guest has been good. Both United States senators have listened to us, and it's difficult, particularly in this day and age, to get those types of things done, but we're trying.
Well, absolutely. So if you'd like to talk with the mayor. Oh, by the way, Lance, did we get somebody to answer that question, the pithy question that we asked? We gave away a couple of tickets. Who?
Philip Clarkson.
Okay.
I've already communicated back with Mr. Clarkson.
Okay.
I sent you an email.
Oh,
and
thank you.
winner
Good deal.
chicken dinner. And what was the answer for that?
Well, the answer was what happens in 12 days that's so significant for everybody in this country. We go off of daylight saving time into Central Standard Time. A lot of people don't like that change of things. But the easy way to do that one is, I think it's a little bit harder in the spring to do it this way. But in the fall, the thing to do is instead of getting up in the middle of the night or whatever to change your clocks back an hour, wait till Sunday morning and you get up and you go, oh gosh, it's 7:00 in the morning. Oh no, it's not. It's 6:00 in the morning, and so you get a whole hour. It's like you think you've just come into all kinds of money to just get that whole hour. It's a pretty good deal. So I think that's an easy way to get into it.
Keep it into perspective, right? You got to put everything into perspective.
Yes. But I just think that's an easier way to slide into it. Now, in the spring, when you have to spring forward, I do that Saturday afternoon or whatever. Get used to it so that I'll wake up Sunday morning. I don't have a surprise. But the surprise on this one is great. Now, the days will be shorter, but that's another thing. So, and congratulations to the winner. Glad to have you along doing that. So anytime we have stuff to give away, we'll ask you a question. You don't just get to be the first. You just get first with the correct answer. So, Mr. Mayor, that's how it goes. But anyway, so that'll be a good project, doing 55 and then doing a Gluckstadt Road. So how many more new subdivisions in the last year have you had? 2 or 3 anyway, I'm sure.
There are some subdivisions that are being built immediately outside of the city. I don't think we have yet a new subdivision within the city, but just right outside of the city limits, we have 2 or 3 subdivisions being constructed now.
What's your west side boundary?
Bozeman Road on to headed north to Catlett Road.
Okay, it's been a while. I was going to try to get out there this weekend because I thought, gosh, I really need to see what's been going on out there, and I'm sorry I did not. And it's been a long time, but I do get a little confused sometimes. What can you expect from somebody who lives in Rankin County? We don't know our way around there, but I do get a little mixed up. But I'm going to get there one of these times. I just think that's terrific. You said though that the commercial is the big thing. Do you want to have like a big grocery store, like a Kroger type of thing, or whatever, or what do you think? Or are people happy to go to where let's go to Madison, I guess?
Well, no,
Sullivan's
we have
is awesome.
What is? What did you say?
I'm sorry, Mayor. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to brag on how awesome Sullivan's is.
Well, good. That's exactly what I was going to do. We have a grocery store, a very nice grocery store, Sullivan's, right there in the center of town, and they are fantastic. We don't need any other grocery store in our community. Sullivan's is great. Now, look, with that said, we want businesses to come to the city. And if a business owner decides that they want to invest in our community, we want to help them do that. But in terms of need, me speaking for me, Sullivan provides that for us.
Well, it sounds like it's a sort of a Publix, but it's a Gluckstadt, right? Gluckstadt.
Sullivan's has a store. I think their original store in Flora. I might be speaking out of school on that, but it's the same family. It's a great operation and great people. Store is beautiful. It's clean. It's got everything you need.
Well, that sounds good. I didn't know that. See,
amazing meat department and seafood department.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Lance?
I just know things. I love Gluckstadt. Gluckstadt's a great place. And I was pulling for them, when they went with the city versus the former format. I was like, this place is going to blow up. It's a hidden gem. And,
it is.
I think you're seeing that. As he said, the only negative I've ever had out there is traffic, and they're working to resolve that, and that's never an overnight thing.
How are you doing on traffic lights? I mean, we have to live with them. And that reminds me, I still got to call our Rankin County people because there's some crazy lights out there that don't seem to make a whole lot of sense. Like, anyway, you wouldn't understand. It's Spillway Road. That's a nightmare for a lot of people. And
I called all of them this morning. Yeah, every one of them today. It was a Tuesday.
Well, it's like, okay, this is on Spillway Road where Shaggy's is, and the police department is right across the road on, you know Spillway Road, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
Okay, so now there are 2 lights there. There's one for Shaggy's, which makes a whole lot of sense, and then there's one for the police department, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, generally, you get a green when you're there. But, at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, that's terrible. It's just a very inconvenient thing, and they would be better off to be operating as flashers, we would say. But that's a terrible one. And we have some long wait lines. There's one at, what is it? I've caught that one too, at Grants Ferry and Spillway. But if you... It has those, you can see in the road, though. You can see, don't you try to put your car on a road thing. I do if there's a thing in the road, wires. If I know there are wires there, then I want to get on a wire to let them know that I'm there. Because if you don't get on a wire, you'll sit there until whatever. Anyway, so are you in the traffic light business in Gluckstadt, needing to add some or what?
No, I don't think we need to add any. We've got enough issues, and adding traffic signals I don't think is an important one right now.
Ooh, that's very lucky. And how about your sewers and all that kind of stuff? That part of interest.
Yeah, our water and sewer infrastructure is provided by Bear Creek. They've been a wonderful partner in the community. The city of Gluckstadt doesn't have its own water or sewer department, and Bear Creek provides everything that we need.
Wonderful. That's good. So what's new besides new businesses coming in? I'm thinking like it's getting toward the holidays. What are you gonna do for? You're gonna have a Christmas parade?
We are going to have a Christmas parade, and getting ready to make a mistake here. It's either December the 12th or December the 14th. I can clear that up right now, but this will be our third Christmas parade, and it is always.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It must be December the 14th because that's a Saturday. Yes,
that's a Saturday. Okay, we will do one more segment after all, won't we? I got Mayor Walter Morrison here from Gluckstadt. Call him up, talk to him. We'll be right back. I didn't know how long we were going to keep the mayor of Gluckstadt here. I thought, a couple segments. Well, here we are, almost running out of time again. So if you want to nab him at 888-808-8637 or text him at 601-879-4395, or you can watch us online, supertalk.fm/Mary. And if you missed the show, you can catch it online. So that's a good thing for people to know that. We're talking about traffic and all that kind of stuff. I read somewhere, just saw that you all are doing something about speeding. It is not allowed in Gluckstadt.
Well, I mentioned earlier that for many years we were sort of the Wild West. The community was in the county. There was little or no speed control enforced at all out there. So all of a sudden, the city becomes a city. We have a police department, and we have to enforce the law. The only oath that I took was to enforce the law. Every officer who is sworn in our police department takes an oath to enforce the law. And so we didn't get to set the speed limits. The speed limits were set by the county or the Department of Transportation authorities, what have you, but we're tasked with enforcing the rules. And when you have to enforce the rules, particularly with regard to speeding, it can become unpopular. I'm the primary example of that. I have in my lifetime gotten speeding tickets, and I do not appreciate when I get a speeding ticket. It makes me feel bad, and it makes me realize that I need to do something because I need to slow down and follow the rules. The rules are what they are. And so we've taken a fair amount of heat for writing speeding tickets in Gluckstadt. And I'm perfectly fine to continue to take the heat because the rules are what the rules are. And if you don't enforce that rule, then where do you begin enforcing the rules? Do we allow people to drink and drive? Do we allow people to shoplift? Do we allow people to otherwise violate rules? At what point do you say, look, this is a law and order society. This is a country based upon the rule of law, and it's our obligation to follow the rules and to enforce the rules. Now, with that said, I have preached to our police department, and they've done a wonderful job of exercising discretion. Despite what I have heard said in the media, we do not write speeding tickets for 36 and a 35.
I was going to say, what is the speed limit?
Right.
And then
Right. Yeah. So the police officers exercise some sense of discretion in how they treat people who exceed the speed limit. But I would just ask for everybody to do two things. First off, recognize that what we're doing is completely motivated towards public safety. The last thing we want to have happen is some horrible accident on Gluckstadt Road or otherwise that results in a fatality that could be avoided. And the second thing is understand that these police officers are doing this because that's the oath they took. That is their job. And it's our job to obey the rules even when we don't like it. So I don't get to enforce the laws that I like only. I have to enforce all of them.
Well, how far over 35 is acceptable? I mean, I know what you're saying. You don't do it at 36, but, to not get a ticket, do you have a limit there, or is that just for the police to know about and for the rest of us to be careful about it?
I think that's in the discretion of every police officer, and I think the circumstances warrant it, dictates sort of what they're going to do. I'm not about to come on here and tell you that if you drive 40 you're going to be okay, but you're going to get a ticket at 41. I'm not in the position to be able to do that. I'm not a police officer. They have to enforce the law. They have to use their best judgment and their discretion. But I'll tell you this, the speed limit on Gluckstadt Road is 35. If you're going 36, you're speeding. And until you can show me a sign that says the speed limit is 36, you're speeding. Now, do I think the officers are going to write you a ticket for that? I do not. But understand that it is in their discretion, and I would just please ask people to slow down. It makes very little difference in how fast you're going to get to Interstate 55, whether you're going 35 or whether you're going 50. It's going to make very little difference. We're talking about
if you're going 50 and get hauled over, then it's going to take you a very long time to get to I-55, because you got to do all that, very long. In Rankin County, and Lance, you've lived in Rankin County for a long time. I was always told, and I see people doing this, that in Rankin County, when it comes to a stop sign, you stop. You don't do a rolling stop. You stop. I mean, if you get caught doing a rolling stop, you'll get nailed. And so I just see people stopping. I see crazy driving all the time. Lakeland, that's a good one. That's the worst of the bunch. But a stop means you stop. You don't roll through it. And by the way, you're stupid if you go through yellow lights on Lakeland and on Old Fannin Road. You're just crazy. And Spiller Road, you're nuts if you do that, because people are crazy. But that crazy people live in Gluckstadt too, so nothing wrong with that. I was going to ask you, do you have a dog? Your police department have a dog?
We do. We've had the dog a year or so, and he's just getting trained, and the officer who handles him, you should see the two of them interact, because it's like a daddy with his new baby.
Oh, yes.
And yes, we do have a dog, and the dog was largely paid for by the community, who contributed funds in order for us to be able to buy and train the dog.
Is it a Malinois, Belgian Malinois?
I think that it is, yes.
Yeah, great dogs. I've never known one personally, but I just know them from reputation that they're really good dogs. There's a great guy on Instagram. His name is Sergeant Eamon O'Reilly. He is a deputy in Washington County, Oregon, right near whatever, and he has got is a search and apprehend dog, and he's a Malinois. Well, every day people send in treats. This is so crazy, so silly sounding, but every day he's on the air. He opens the cage, and the dog sticks his head on his shoulder, and they eat treats together. It's the silliest thing, but it's wonderful. But when it comes to serious business, they're very serious business, and that's good. So you getting local training on him? Or does he have to go someplace for his training?
I'm not sure about the details of that, but our dog is a drug dog. That's the dog's purpose.
Okay. Well, that will be difficult. Well, maybe if he's young like this, because with legalizing marijuana for medical purposes, he's trained probably to sniff it. You're the first person I've ever asked this about. If they're trained for drugs, so do you say you don't train them for marijuana because it could be somebody who's legally has it, or do you know how that works? I have no idea.
I don't. What I'm getting ready to say is pure speculation. I think the dog is trained to detect all drugs, including marijuana. I think at that point in time, the question is, well, are you legally authorized to have this marijuana or not? And I think that you would have to have a drug card or something like that. But again, I'm not a police officer, so I'm speculating on that.
So, and how many on staff of your police department? And do you need more? Are you looking?
It's about 15 to 18. We're always looking for good candidates.
And I don't imagine it's very hard to find them.
It is very hard to find them.
Really?
It's very
what?
very competitive to try to find good police officers.
The last time you were here, we talked about that land that abuts Gluckstadt to the north and Madison to the south of you, and it was in the courts, and it's still in courts. But what has happened with that? And I had Mayor Mary on talking about it as well. What is the situation with that?
The annexation trial was supposed to go forward in September. Mm-hmm. It was continued at the last minute, and it's now being, I think, reset in the spring of next year.
Okay, well, then you can get some things done over the wintertime. So you say you're having a Christmas parade. You're going to decorate town with a lot of stuff? The downtown area?
I don't think that we've necessarily decorated the town, but I will tell you that the people who put on the parade jumped in with both feet. This will be the third year in a row. It is a wild success by my estimation. I can remember the first year when they said we were going to have a Christmas parade, and I thought to myself, well, I hope people come. And I was actually in a car in the parade. And when we turned out on Calhoun Station Parkway on the main part of the parade route, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe how many people had actually come out to the Gluckstadt Christmas parade. It was bigger and better last year,
wow.
And it'll be bigger and better this year. The community has just really gotten involved in it and is excited about it, and it's a wonderful thing for us.
I bet Santa Claus likes coming to Gluckstadt, doesn't he? Because
I think so.
It's growing so fast and all that kind of stuff. So do you know how many floats or displays are ever going to be in there? It's just how many were in the past, so you can kind of
we had a bunch last year. We had certainly over 20 last year. I can't tell you how many. It'll be big.
It'll be over 30, I'll bet you.
Yeah,
what time
it's nice.
Is it middle of the day? I guess it's on a Saturday?
It's in the morning. It's on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. A do not miss thing, right?
That's right. So, please come out because the kids enjoy it, and heck, I enjoy it.
And so the stores will be all decorated anyway. Are you going to have like a Christmas tree at City Hall or something like that?
We will. It might be a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but we'll have a Christmas tree.
It doesn't matter. It's a Christmas tree. What else you got happening out there that's new and different and whatever?
Well, that's a lot. I mean, we've got a lot going on. We've got new businesses coming into the city every day. We've got this new police department building getting ready to be opened, and so lots going on. We've got a lot more to go, though.
Are these businesses that are moving from some existing location, or are these new businesses, like the dog grooming place? That's
Both.
A new business. Well, that's a brand new business, I
Both.
think.
We have businesses that have been in one community moving to ours, and then we have brand new businesses, too.
Well, Mayor Walter Morrison of Gluckstadt, December the 14th, put that on your calendar so we can all bombard Gluckstadt for a big parade. A really good one, huh? Oh,
yes,
good.
ma'am.
Very good. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Happy holidays, and I'll see you soon after the new year. Happy 25.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.